And it's on.
I'm going to check on my machine. Just to see.
Okay.
That's really good. I turned the speaker off, so we get feedback. I'm clicking on the live stream keys now.
I don't think so.
And sometimes there's a delay from when I start it to when it goes up.
Yeah, it's just still showing it's up coming.
I have it. It's up. We're on my computer. I mean, this is on the web browser, like as if I was a user.
So
It says we're live. I named this one July 16, 2026 continued. It looks like our first half was already on as well. So I'm not sure who's having
Well, then maybe it's just
difficulties.
I mean, I'm sitting here on my laptop and it's not streaming.
I don't see any names. All right. We're going to have to go old school.
Yep, look,
We
there
ready
we
to reconvene?
Yes.
Okay, we'll reconvene
There it is. It's not
the meeting. We had some technical difficulties. I think we rectified them. So where were we?
talking about the
Still
phone.
talking about the capital reserve.
Yes, the capital reserve.
I was expounding upon setting guardrails so that we, future boards and everything, have the specific guardrails that you just can't go into. We have certain silos which are designed for equipment for this and that, and it gives internal rules for us to follow. Because some years we're going to be flush with cash, other years we're not. So when we're flush with cash, it's not when we got to go on a spending spree. But you all know what I'm trying to say.
Well, it's about having that rainy day fund and setting aside monies for these large equipment purchases that are required to maintain the township.
Yes, and we want to be intelligent enough to anticipate funds, which our manager is doing with items that she feels that will come up in 27 and 28. And I think that's healthy for us to plan our expenditures whenever possible. So moving on, Christy.
I was just going to add a couple more items to that list. The next one was updated traffic lights, which we also talked about last year. It's $20,000 a signal. Shane needs to do more research. Not all the signals need the loop upgrade. You guys had mentioned possibly a capital item in previous discussions. And then the last one I had was 2027 emergency services for supplemental fire services because of the unknown due to the DCED fire service study. Is there any discussion of any of those items? Are there any other items we didn't put on this list? Anything you can think of for 2027?
The only thing that comes to my mind is with our financial software. I don't know if it's time to consider making a change and moving most of the townships, at least when PSAT comes out, they have, here's a quick extraction. They don't come out with, used to be Peachtree, what's it called now?
Well, did Jason talk to you
No.
at all?
Jason told me he didn't talk to him yet.
Okay. Jason's going to talk to you about that because him and I were discussing that. And since we just did all this changeover with my laptop and everything, I asked him to talk to you about it because he can put it in better terms as far as computer stuff. So I thought I did ask him to do that. So, but
No, that's fine.
I
It's
didn't
just
know
a
if he
function
had or
of
not
something
yet.
we had talked
Yeah.
about, and what's driving me is the fact that Peachtree, I forget who acquired Peachtree off the top of my head, and that when you look out across what PSAP trains for, for other townships, it is QuickBooks, and QuickBooks is one of the predominant business softwares for this type of entity and other businesses. So if we don't need to shift gears, fine, I'm happy to go with Jason whenever.
I really do appreciate that the thought process on that, but I would like to whatever Jen is comfortable with working with. She's our accountant, so she says that we're due a change, then we're due a change. But
Well, Jason had some things that he had said when him and I were discussing it after the last meeting, and I didn't write down exactly what he had said, and that's why I said, I was like, okay, I said, well, can you talk to Dean and say everything that you just said to me? And he said that he would, and I did mention it to him again, but I didn't know if he had talked to you since I said something to him.
No, I think that's perfectly fine. So we'll hear what Jason has to say, because it ties obviously into the hardware and software that we have around here, and will play nicely. And then I think to Dave's point, if there's a reason to shift and that makes sense for you and everything you have to do, and it makes improvements, great. If it doesn't add any value, I don't want to spend money just to spend money. Because at the end of the day, we do get our financial information. It's more about, does it make improvements?
what's the anticipated cost for the new website? Do you know?
Well, last year when I did my research, I came up with about $3,000. But I'm going to look into that again because of the rising costs and things.
And it's also tying into that other piece.
Oh yeah, I didn't even factor that in. Yes, you're right. Good point.
Because
that's if you want to go with that. Yeah.
But that was part of the reason we took a step back and said, not this year. Obviously, hearing what the public wanted, they wanted a bit more access, things being delivered to them versus them coming to a website. And so we've done that research, and because it has tie-ins to the website, it was like, why would we plug that in if we're going to redesign the website? Let's consider it maybe at one time, but we don't necessarily have to because they're two separate and distinct items.
I have a question, kind of similar to this, but still technology. I have an equipment replacement schedule for laptops and devices too. Next year, there's 2 devices that need changed out. And then the year after that, I think it's like 3, and it's all 3 of yours. Technically, we probably could replace 2 of yours next year, but I'd prefer to just do them all in one shot, as long as they're working decently. Look at you looking at me. But so anyways, is that something you want me to put on this list or no? Because they're not.
Yes,
okay, you do.
I think it's important to be like, to
sure.
Me, this is the shopping list, the wish list.
Yeah.
So we kind of get a sense of what's coming, and then I think that would help us also. Okay, computer equipment. To me, I would make that one of the guardrails that we put in to the capital fund. Okay. Because those tend to be, fairly big ticket items.
Yeah.
Depending on what it is.
Okay. Is there any? Oh, go ahead.
I think we need the brain to let us know when our computers are eligible for an upgrade, so we get on a schedule, just like the equipment.
Yeah.
And spread it out so it's not all at one time.
Yep, I'm tracking it.
The only change with that, I guess clarification, is sometimes it's good to replace laptops at the same time if there's a significant change to them. Generally right now, it's mostly, you're still running the same software, it's increases in processors and whatnot, so certainly going out, but I just want to be mindful there are times where it could be a significant change and you might need to change everything. But we would know that in advance.
Yeah. I think we have a pretty good schedule right now, but yes, you're right.
And we always have that fallback position where we can go back to a 3 reminder.
You do have that. You do have that option if you want to go backwards.
That was a joke.
No.
The EMS, I'll call it EMS line item.
Mm-hmm.
If and when the township does decide to go in a different direction with there, we have our donation line items that we can utilize if we have to for that. So we do have money set aside for that to start with.
Mm-hmm.
So just wanted to bring that up.
Sure.
And I'll look for Shane to let us know what traffic lights he wants to do in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's a good recommendation.
Weren't they all upgraded this year?
Well, I mean, they're doing their. Is
Regular
that the
maintenance and
yeah,
things.
that's what I thought it was. It wasn't. I didn't think it was the loop upgrades. Or
Okay.
I'll ask him. I didn't
Yeah.
think it was the loop upgrades
I
though.
thought they were going to the smart lights, because our lights, let's face it, our lights in our county are dumb.
They weren't gonna cut the road anymore and put the loops in, they were doing like the overhead sensors.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to look into that. Does anyone else have any other suggestions for that list for next year? Or maybe something you just don't want to forget about in the coming years? I do have items for 2028 that we've talked about last year. That would be comprehensive plan, supervisor salary for newly elected officials, ag security process, and don't know what you want to do about this, but it was on the list, EMC compensation, like stipend or something. So,
EMT?
coordinator, the emergency management coordinator.
EMC.
Yeah. So it doesn't mean that it has to happen.
No,
It's just
I would
like
put it on the
things.
list, so it's things that we
Discuss.
recognize that,
Yeah.
we need to talk about it, and is this something that we have to fund, or is it nice to have?
Right.
Is this where I would say we need to really look at the legal services
Yeah.
big increase, because already this year, the first 6 months, we spent $21,253.14 on right to know requests alone.
Mhm.
So we're 32% over budget as of whatever this is last
When
time.
was it, July?
Just in July.
What we're going to do is we're going to probably have the draft budget for your viewing in September. Okay, so you can start looking at it on your own in September, and I'm going to get to this later in the meeting, but the next financial review meeting is actually the budget meeting on October 20th at 6 p.m. That Jen and I go down that list, and anywhere that something needs increased or we want to remind ourselves, we always add a note in next to that account line. And yes, we are definitely very aware of that line item along with other line items that should be increased for sure. Does anyone have any other questions or comments?
I would like to see Shane being able to attend his public works conferences yearly to exchange ideas and think outside the box. I know this year we had to cut him out because the money was spent somewhere else, and he didn't go last year. But I think it's important that he stay on top of things. And
Well, I think training for all township employees is important, making sure we have the right budget there, right? Because that's really what it is.
Yeah.
And exposing him to new things happening in one get otherwise sitting or running the roads around here.
Yeah.
And so I think that goes for yourself and the rest of the staff. Christie's look across what PSATS does or other organizations that support Biggs Township, and if there's something out there, let's at least talk about it when it comes to budget cycle.
That's a line item that we're going to have to increase then because we're very likely going to go over it this year. The little anomaly that occurred was the what's that equipment we got for?
The airfare to Puerto Rico?
Totally. We got a grant for the equipment itself to go down in the holes for
Oh, closed
space equipment.
space.
Yeah.
Confinement, yeah.
Yeah,
But you need
confinement.
training,
That's
and
what
you
I
have-
The training used to be free, and then suddenly it was like very expensive. And then I had to cut training out for my other staff members just so that I wasn't overly going over that line item. So,
That's important then.
Yeah.
to look ahead. And I think when situations like that come up, it's a function of, well, how are we doing,
yeah,
budget-wise? It's obviously, if the training you need is in the first half of the year, it's hard to gauge.
right,
If it's training that's coming up in the fourth quarter, as we move in, we may, like we said, we're doing okay, we still expect that to be surplus.
yeah,
If that training class is another $1,000 in the grand scheme of our budget, it makes sense if somebody needs a
Correct.
training class because it's an important piece, again, of the services that we provide to the community.
correct. Plus, we keep getting new guys and stuff, so it's almost like we keep having to
You
do
need
that
training
previous
budget.
training. Yeah,
And I think that's important, so it's public works and it's also, the administrative staff as well.
correct. Okay, I made a note. Anything else?
Yeah, and that, the public works that I mentioned is I guess it's an annual conference, it's
Yes.
not just PSATs.
It would be like me and Jen going to Pelraz, but he would be going to that road.
Exactly, that's,
Yeah.
I would like to see him attend that yearly.
And so maybe that's one of those things that, just like Pelraz for Jen and I had that on reorganization agenda where you guys approved that at the
Yeah.
beginning of the year.
Sure.
I'll put that on reorganization. Sound
Great.
good? Okay. Let me.
Start with the budget.
Yep.
Shane's gonna love that.
Do you need a motion for that?
Not right now, I don't think.
Okay.
No. Okay. So my next item, which is my last item, and this is for the per capita tax. I'm not going to do a recap of everything we've already talked about with that. But I will give you our new information, which is, we found out that, and Kathy's the one who did this research for us, Goldsboro, York Haven Borough, Mount Wolf Borough, Conewago Township, and Newberry Township all eliminated the per capita tax, and the school district did not take the other half. The only two left are East Manchester Township and Manchester Borough, who still collect it. So one option for us would be to eliminate it and see what the school district does. If they decide to collect the full $10, we can always reinstate the township portion to collect it again. And this is per Attorney Miller.
Everything I've heard, we should just make it go away.
And also to recap this part, because it's important, we're looking at about $26,000 from that after materials and delinquents, and it is a giant headache for tax collectors. And that's not just Kathy, that's all of them all around.
You're chasing things.
Yeah.
And yes, $26,000 is a big number, but in the scheme of a $5 million budget, and with the tax increase that we put in, I just think it's the right thing to do for the public.
Okay.
Well, why don't we reflect that on the agenda for August?
Sure.
Hmm.
If we feel that
I
we have
would,
money made up somewhere else, or
Yes, we've already got it in the budget. I mean, we've got a surplus, so even with the adjustment we have, we still anticipate having a surplus at the end of the year of at least $90,000 right now.
also, because of us not factoring in that the LERTA properties in our tax increase next year, we will receive more than what we got this year because there'll be 10% more additional on their property assessments of each of those properties. Does that make sense?
The LERTA thing.
The LERTA,
Yes.
the LERTA, correct.
So,
I'm just concerned, I'd like to see us pay off our debt as soon as we can.
well,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's part of these quarterly financial meetings. So right now where we're sitting, we can't do that. Okay, we're not at 40%, we're at 32 based on what you said earlier. yes, we're doing good, but we're not there yet. So
Mhm.
my sense would be is we'll see where we're at Q3, but most likely it's going to be a Q1 of 27 discussion of, hey, we ended the year,
Yes.
we have this absolute surplus, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And part of me says my suggestion would be 50% to debt, the other 50% goes into the capital fund.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, I'm just tossing that out there
Yeah.
to potentially consider. Okay, and I think the thing you showed us with the loan that you're tracking is that we've got those reserve dollars sitting in the Pliget account, right? And it's earning X amount of interest. And
There,
we're paying Y, but you know, so we've got the net interest. Yes, we're still paying interest, but it's at a greatly reduced rate.
It's in the money market account.
Money market, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, oh, I'm sorry, Dave, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You finish up.
All I was going to say is a decision would need to be made by October. So by your October budget meeting, you'd have to let us know because we would have to advertise for the November board meeting and then report it to county by December 1st.
So you
The
want to
per
put it on
The per
August?
capita.
Well, I'm thinking we're going to do that in August.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, let's put it on the August agenda as Dave suggested.
Oh, like literally,
Yeah.
you want me to have the resolution ready and everything? Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do
Let's
that.
get in front of that bus.
Yeah.
And Jen, a
Resolution.
question: Do we have a list, a table showing us the LERTA properties yet,
Yes.
and when they're going to be done and all that?
Yes.
Think you've
Okay.
shared
Yeah,
it.
that's what, oh, you have it there? Okay, yeah, that's what we updated.
Now I was trying to do some math to avoid
Can
that.
you email it
Yeah.
to us?
Yes.
The Excel version?
Yeah, that's all. Yes, that is all we have, anyways. The Excel version.
And when you, thinking ahead to the budget meeting, what's the general increase in expenses that you're going with? Doing 3% cost of living for general stuff across the board? I know you look at every line item, but when you first put it in,
Mhm.
you
I,
don't know yet?
yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only other thing I have, because I already told you when the budget meeting, or that's our next time we meet regarding our finances. This is a little something extra I did, which I should know some kind of guidance for when we're doing our draft budget. I summarized how much we're paying for IT services and our cybersecurity and how many devices. The reason why I did this is because, number one, it's showing me emergency management devices. 5 of our 19 devices is theirs. Jason did do his research. We can't not cover them, okay? All of those laptops, all 5 of those require to have email. 99% of breaches come through email. And computers aren't a thing that you can just purchase and do this anymore. They need updated and software and maintenance and so it's one of those things that's a cost of business. So what I did was I did a breakdown. Our total line item should be around $45,200 for computer maintenance. Without the 5 devices for emergency management, it would come down to $36,500. Not very much, but that's how much it would come down. So emergency management would be, if you chose to go this way, would be responsible for $8,898. And if you divide that by the 3 municipalities, it would be about $3,000 a municipality.
We all share, so I would suggest we should share.
In the past, the board has opted that we just cover all the IT expenses because it wasn't that much. Now we've grown, or that department has grown so much.
Cybersecurity is a critical
Let's
piece
just
of the
say-
equation.
Yeah,
So
that, right.
Things have changed, so my reaction is share.
Okay. What I can do is I can get this Excel sheet out to the 2 boroughs and Mike to show them, hey, this is what we're eating so far, and we'd like to see you share this. Jason came up with a really good idea. He said, I don't know what Mike's doing with that grant money, but I wonder if any of that grant money can maybe help offset that too, you know?
I think that's worth checking into. As
Yeah.
far as the share allocation, would it be based on population like they do with the insurance?
No.
Or
The
some
w-
other allocation?
So it would
No,
go
I-
by the contract, and the contract is an
Oh.
even.
Okay.
We share
Third,
equally.
third.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I send,
That's fine.
I send the other, the boroughs, a bill in January for the year before, once I get totals of everything.
Okay.
And I
But
can track that
shared
throughout the
equally.
year, so,
Okay,
yeah.
that's perfectly fine. That follows the contract.
Okay. Thank you
So
for that.
So I understand that what we're saying is we're removing the EMC people off our township.
No.
No.
We're sharing the cost with
Yeah.
the two
Yeah, sharing the
boroughs.
cost. I still have concerns about security of the township stuff as far as.
Well, they're protected, so Jason and I spoke about this.
Yep.
And so you have your user, and those usernames are only given access to certain things.
Understand.
And so, you know, someone to get that, they'd have to literally lift that laptop, and then to get further in, they need to try and figure out what our usernames and passwords are. Plus, we got multi-factor authentication running and other issues. So, is there absolutely perfection? No, you never achieve perfection. But for the 99.8 or 9%, if they lifted that laptop or wanted to do something nefarious, they're not getting it.
I just don't like them using the main name East Manchester Township.
Are they
I
using
think
they've
they'll have
got
their own.
well, their email address
Oh, the
is
email. Yeah.
at emanchestertwp.com.
Correct.
Yeah.
I
So
do.
that's not going to change.
I think that should be separated.
You,
that's
you
my
need
feeling.
another domain. Now we can
Right.
talk to Jason about, is it possible? Maybe it is. It may be possible to give them something else so they could go by the name of the contract. So that would be a question to ask Jason.
This comes down to a systemic problem that I see. When we enter into our EMA and we're sharing that with the boroughs, to me that's problematic. When we start talking about a stipend for our EMC, then do we have to share that stipend everyone should pay? If we were
I
autonomous,
can I'm sorry, Dave, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I can easily, if you guys do opt to do that, I can easily track that as well and then add that into their bills. That's not a big issue.
Because I'm thinking even like.
If that's what you were talking, if that's
Give
what
them
you
Yeah,
all
I
our
think he was getting
laptops,
to a
we
point.
reclaim those fine.
I tend to agree with Darrell. I think the EMA is their tentacles are too deep into us right now, and that concerns me, and I think it's what concerns you.
Yeah.
So whether it was a mistake or not to go with the tri-municipal thing, like entering the two boroughs, maybe we should have went on our own. I'm just saying. I'll just say it the way it is.
Okay.
And I don't know what that would do for us, but if we do decide on the stipend, it would have to be a memo or understanding between the three boroughs, and they'd have to pick up that cost, and then they're going to pick up the cost for the computers, and I'm concerned about their finances as well.
Yeah, that's
I
what
mean-
I wanted to clarify too, because Dee, you mentioned like about the cybersecurity and that for those. Like, if you all wanted me to add that into the bills too,
Here's my
we'd
position.
probably have to get like a separate bill maybe that I could
Here-
put into the
here's-
file for each month for just those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
Yeah.
here's my position. My position is if this is something that's being shared based on an agreement with the two other boroughs, then every cost should be put into the bucket and shared based on that agreement. Because we all agreed that this was an essential service that we need to provide to our collective communities.
Yeah,
And-
right
and
now.
the past is the past, but my sense is that, you know, costs are increasing, they're not going down. And so, I'll just be blunt about it, it's like, you know, you signed up for this agreement, these are costs that need to be shared and picked up. And if you don't want to be part of the clubhouse, then I guess there is a termination clause in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Oh, sorry.
we're talking the same language here. It has to be ascertained to, or has to be explained to the two mayors that, look, this is going to cost you more in the future.
Mhm.
We have, it's business. We have to recoup our costs. We're not subsidizing the boroughs in this regard.
Now, as far as pulling the technology, as far as pulling the technology out separate, I think that's a conversation with Jason to be like, well, if you let that entity have those 5 laptops, then what do they need to do to maintain them and things of that? That becomes a cost of that. So again, it's kind of like, if you're worried about the email address being at emanchester@twp.com, then we could talk to Jason about, well, how do you segregate that, still keep the cybersecurity and things which roll through us, and then it's a shared cost. But when the email goes out, it's something that makes sense. Maybe it's the acronym, or if it's available, if that domain's available through the acronym of what we call this thing.
You'd probably be getting into a separate cost, additional cost
Could
because
be,
of domain name and.
But again, if it's about a security concern, which is what we're hearing, I am not as stressed about the security with the email address.
Me
Okay.
neither.
Because I can tell you right now, in my normal day job, I have access and email addresses into clients that I work for, and I can access their back-end systems with my business email address and username and passwords, multi-authentication. It would require someone of skills, probably 1,000 times more than me, to hack into that stuff because of the controls and security that's in place.
Just convey our concerns to Jason.
Sure.
Should this be a discussion that maybe we need to have a meeting with EMA group?
Yeah.
And before budget time, so this can be brought up
Yeah.
with their
Yeah,
municipalities.
for their future budget. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the next one's scheduled, what, in November or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we should call for one earlier.
Yeah, the budget meeting that's had in the middle of the year, it already happened in order for everyone to participate. But I didn't know all of these until now. And I also didn't know what direction you guys wanted to go until now.
Do we have any issues giving them the 5 laptops so we can explain those?
Let's cross that bridge at a later date. I think we need to talk to Jason and find out what we can do. And then I think we need this meeting to talk about the whole thing, everything. And maybe does it need to include 2 other boroughs as well? I don't know.
I mean, yes, but can we go back for a whole second? Did you say give back the laptops?
The 5 laptops that we are counting on our account. I was thinking we just give them to the EMA and say, here you go. Now you guys maintain them and get your own email and whatever system you need to get a way to split from East Manchester Township.
Oh.
Again, I think we need to talk to Jason to see
Yeah.
if he can give you enough comfort, because I know I'm not an IT expert, and to allay your fears. If he can allay your fears, then to what Dad and Dave are saying, they'd like to segregate those laptops out. One, because they're tied into our back-end IT infrastructure.
Yeah. And
Okay?
either way, too, they're going to still, like, if they're maintaining them or whatever, it's still going to be coming out of our budget then,
Well,
correct?
not necessarily.
1/3 of it would be.
I mean, how
Yeah,
are they
we
going to
would
pay
have
for
a
it?
third
How
of
are
it,
they
but
going
it's
to
a
pay
function of that entity. If that entity were to get those 5 laptops, they'd have to go out and secure all the technology that they needed to support those laptops, email addresses, and so on and so forth. Okay?
I
don't
have
know
a
how they're
slight
gonna do that.
I have a slight issue with that because those are plans that we need inevitably. If that's a volunteer position, and we should just be glad we have someone who's willing to put so much time to it, to do it, and then to put that person, whoever it would be, whether it's still Mike and he decides to continue to do it or whatever, or somebody else in the future. Now we're just throwing them to the wolves to say, figure it out, get
Right.
your own email.
Yeah.
you're not going to have our IT guy. You're not going to be covered under us. Don't care. Figure it out for us.
And
So
who's
we
to
need that
say
plan
that-
though.
And-
But you do it. Figure it out.
No,
I disagree with that.
well, I think you're looking at it wrong.
Okay.
We're not looking at Mike Fisher. We're looking at the tri-municipal agreement that we're under. So all three of us reap the benefits of having the EMC. Okay?
I understand that.
So what we're saying is, what I think what we're saying is that we can't be buying these laptops and maintaining these laptops and all this stuff, and the other two entities don't cough up a dime. That's
But they
the
are.
issue.
But they are.
But if they
are.
just
Did we buy the
Building
laptops?
them.
no,
There
it came
was-
out of the EMC line item.
Okay.
So again,
Yeah.
if it's shared, so I think we need to segregate cost sharing from technology concerns, because they are two distinct things. So my sense, and you heard my position is, if it's related to the EMC, every dollar should be accounted for and shared in accordance with that agreement.
Yes.
If we haven't shared it in the past, shame on us, but now we are.
Full importance,
Okay.
yes. That's why I
When-
was trying to clarify
yeah, so-
about the
sorry.
cybersecurity and things, yeah.
So when it comes to security, I think it is a conversation first and foremost with Jason, our IT guy, to say, here are the concerns that we have. How do we gain comfort that that's not an issue? And if it is an issue, then what steps do you recommend to provide so that this EMC has the support that they need? Because they need technology.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right.
They can't do their job on paper
Can't
and
do it.
pencil.
Yeah.
Okay?
And the way that it is right now, we do have some oversight that way. Like like Christy was saying, if you guys like say that they have to like get their own person and all this stuff, we won't necessarily know who that is. You know what I mean? Right now we know what they have and who's doing what. You know what I mean? If they get a total separate entity,
Or
they might not be
nobody.
as good as what we have.
And they
Do you
get
know what I mean? And that could-
compromised or anything.
we could be leaving ourselves open to more that way, because if their stuff goes down, then all of a sudden, and then we have an emergency, that could come back on us because we
No, that
made
would
it
come
into-
back on us because it's
Yeah.
our responsibility to ensure that we have an emergency management coordinator and a plan. And we,
For our residents.
right, but right now we're currently under the agreement, is all. I understand what you guys are saying
Right.
about the call sharing.
Mhm.
I don't have a problem with that part of it. It's the part of saying now you're just completely disconnected. You're volunteer, but we're going to make you do more work than what you already have with that position, because now you're going to be on your own to figure out how you're going to go about it because you don't have our resources anymore.
Yeah.
We named ourselves the Emergency Operations Center, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true.
And I agree with everything you're saying. Okay? I mean, my sense is there's the cost and then there's the technology issue.
Right.
And those are two separate and distinct items.
I agree.
And let us not all forget that this is an unfunded mandate by the government.
I appreciate the fact that, folks further up the food chain like to kick things down the hill.
Yeah. Moving on.
That's all I have.
Beat that horse.
You guys are so
So,
fun.
seeing that we have no one from the public here, we'll dismiss the public comment. Any additional business?
One for me,
Is there any comments from the supervisors?
one for me.
No.
No. Okay, well, do you guys have anything else?
I do not. Do you?
Thank our staff.
Yes, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. So, I'll make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.